Hello everyone, I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host here at the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you live and in the clear from the 49th Annual Sun and Fun International Expo and Fly-In from the Aerospace Center for Excellence, broadcasting to you live from the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. The folks have opened up our one of our classrooms, and it's a temporary set, but we're working on trying to make this permanent because there's so much good stuff that comes out of this production effort here. And we're here at the climax of our week. It's the crescendo. It's the big guy himself. We got Gene Conrad here. Air shake.
Air shake.
Okay.
Hey Ben, how are you?
Gene, I'm tired. Are you
Yes.
You understand that? Do you
Yes,
talk
I
that
do.
language?
Very much so.
Okay. Gene, this has been your first full year here as you took the helm. And we've been watching you. We've been watching you close. And you've done a pretty good job.
Pretty good?
Pretty good. I'm a little bit disappointed. Every year, we're usually able to, we can count on at least 2, maybe 3 days of hard rain, high winds, cold temperatures, and we haven't had any of that this week. I'm very disappointed.
Well, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but it's been perfect weather. It's been a great year, and it's for my first, leading the organization. It's just been phenomenal, and just kudos and a big thanks to my team and to the 2,500 volunteers that put on this great event. Without them, we couldn't do it. It's amazing. I got asked several times this week, what's the difference between, about running the airport, which I ran Lincoln Linder for 12 years, and running this great organization in this event. And the most difficult thing is whether you're running a business or an airport, you have every day to tweak it and make it better, and continuous improvements and being efficient as possible. Here, you can plan, think you're doing the right things, right? But then reality sets in and the rubber hits the road, and you've got 6 days to operate. And now after today, we put it all back in the box and we go back to planning for our 50th Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo next year. But that's the most difficult thing. And, but it's been a banner year. I don't like to get into a bunch of numbers or whatnot, but yesterday was our biggest single day as far as crowds. Biggest single day yesterday ever in our history. And I can say that because we had more acreage and more space available in parking than we've ever had before, and we filled it all yesterday. So it was a phenomenal day. We're just very thankful that everybody came out, and we appreciate the weather gods helping us out this year.
Yeah, it could be a totally different story next year. Could be but right now we're going to take a win.
Let's not jinx it yet.
Let's take a win.
We'll take a win. It's a big win for all of us.
Gene, everything is kind of migrating, and we've talked about the 49th, this being the 49th. 50th, I'm sure that there's some nice things you're going to roll out. You just mentioned your aim or your intent is to have at least one of everything, at least one of, for the Warbirds.
Sure.
Because that's really a crowd puller. I mean, EAA, the home builts, that's great. Don't get me wrong. We're not casting any stones there, but it's a blend and a combination of all of this. But the Warbirds, they're pullers.
Sure. For our 50th, our big thing this year is there were a lot of changes as far as the layout and the site this year, right? So we had the island this year. We combined home-built parking and camping. We moved general aviation camping to the east side. So we put all the aircraft together, and we created what we're calling the island. So it's just a service hub, for all of our flying traffic and campers that are out there. But we wanted to get all these changes in place this year in anticipation for the 50th, because we want to spend our time now after this event, after this year, today. We want to start planning for the 50th and the programming that we want to be able to provide, right? So all those changes are done. And you mentioned the Warbirds, so we want to try to get one of everything that's flying today here. I was with the aircraft judges the last several days, and talking to their team, and all the previous grand champions, all the different awards that we do for aircraft here, and all the blood, sweat, and tears, the restorers or the home builders are doing to their aircraft. We want to get the special aircraft here and provide a special place so people be able to see those aircraft, and then also be able to celebrate our history in 50 years and our pioneers and a volunteer not-for-profit organization and where we are today, where we were and where we are. It's pretty special, and so we want to spend our time programming and getting ready for a big show next year to celebrate our 50 years.
Well, and we're going to go on because I see a really swell of interest and our youth in aviation. Education-wise, it's phenomenal. That we're sitting here in an aviation high school, and we will be duplicating this throughout not only the county but hopefully the state and the nation, and for that matter, the world.
Yep.
And it's achievable goal.
Yep.
I shut you off. Go ahead.
No,
You're on a roll.
But what I was going to say is, the net proceeds from what we do during this week, right? So everything that we generate, the net, all of that goes back into our youth aviation educational programming. So on this campus, obviously we have this great building, the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, 385 students in this high school this year. That's the most ever. We have the Lakeland Aero Club, our high school flying club. We have Skylab Innovation Center with our 5 purpose-built labs. Next year, we're bringing every single 5th grader in Polk County through our lab, and that's 7,500, so we'll be busy.
That's a lofty goal.
Well, it's happening. It's actually happening with partners like the Lakeland International Airport, Bartow Executive, Winter Haven Regional, and then also Lake Wales. They're all contributing to get all these kids here for us, over the next year. Also with the AMP school, and you mentioned, duplicating it now in Winter Haven, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, Winter Haven. We're getting ready to cut the ribbon on their portables that are out there now, and eventually we'll get a brick and mortar building and help them, get that done, and because it's all about the kids and moving forward, and this is what this organization is about. And if I could say too, there's been some confusion in the past because it's always been Sun and Fun, then you had the Florida Air Museum, right? So you had 2 different not-for-profits. Well, what's happened over time, everybody's like, what's the Aerospace Center for Excellence? Well, the Aerospace Center for Excellence is the renaming of the Florida Air Museum, Inc., right? That not-for-profit. So ACE is now the parent company, and the Sun and Fun Flying, Inc. is the subsidiary, right? So all the net proceeds flow back into our educational programming. So I just wanted to kind of describe that a little bit for folks, because there's been some confusion out there when I talk to a lot of folks, but that's how that's why you see it on my breast here,
Sure.
and then, Sun and Fun's on the side. So that's how we're organized.
Well, and it may morph again, but right now it makes sense for it to be that way. And I don't care who you are, it's always just going to be Sun and Fun.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you mentioned Sun and Fun.
Yeah, but if you look at our logo that we've already produced and put out there for our 50th next year, it's a throwback to our old logo. Because we want to celebrate the history and where we've come from, and celebrate the people. Paul Poberezny always said the planes bring us together, but the people keep us coming back.
That's
and
right.
That's what it's all about.
That's right. I really, I just had a flashback of talking to Paul up on top of the FAA building back when it was the FAA Production Studios. But anyway, I digress. Gene, future site plans, and I know things are shifting to the east. And you mentioned the island a little while ago, and the island, I'm really looking forward to seeing that grow. And it's probably going to, where are our new, when we lose A, B, C, and D over the future, 5, 10 years, there's going to be some more convention space set up. Where is that going to go in our site? And I know we don't have a site plan here.
Yeah, but first of all, we're not going to lose A, B, C, and D. We're going to lose C and D.
Okay, C
right?
and D.
Yeah, because what's happening is, so first of all, let me just first quell everybody's worries out there. Number one, Amazon doesn't own the airport, right? Heard that. I hear that all the time.
Really? I thought they did. That's what
No, they don't. They don't run the airport. They're not in control. So I just want to put all that to rest. They've actually been great partners. They even canceled all their flights yesterday evening to accommodate our fireworks.
So that's why I didn't get my package.
That's your problem. But yeah, but I mean, because we need to do our fireworks. So
Sure.
they've been great partners. And what's happening long term is, with the new runway, number one, a new runway here is being driven by all the flight school and general aviation activity here, not Amazon. Because in 2010, the airport did 64,000 operations. This last year, 143,000. Amazon was only 8,000 of that. All right, so what's driving a new runway and the need for it here at Lakeland is all the general aviation activity, which is great, and that's what we want. But I will say too, that runway is 10 to 12 years out. This is not happening tomorrow. There's a lot of work and a lot of things that need to occur. But when the day comes, though, for us specifically, we need to do our planning and get ready. So to your point on ABCD and the exhibit buildings, where does all that go? Here in the next month or so, we're going to start working on that. But it's not just going to be me and my team and consultants. We have to bring in all the stakeholders, all the volunteer groups, everybody. It's going to be a process and going to take us time, and we need to take the time. so we do it right. But when you look at the ground here, if you look at an aerial, unfortunately, it is really inefficient as far as like the east side where the aircraft are parked now, because you have roads that were just put in for like the VOR so the FAA could service it. You've got swales out there, ditches not in the right place, but that's just how it was constructed during World War II, right? And so over time, as new things are getting built, for example, Taxiway Sierra, that's on the south side that now runs north-south. When we built that, when I was running the airport, if you looked at general aviation parking this year, it created tons of more parking for aircraft, right? And so it worked really, really well this year. And so over time, as improvements can, happen, or when the new runway comes or other improvements are made here at the airport, we're going to put a lot of effort working with our partners at the airport to make sure the grounds are good and we can use them as efficiently as possible. So whether that's parking areas for aircraft, new exhibit buildings, new exhibit space, there's a lot of room out there. 523 will go away, right? So that's going to open up areas. So there's a lot of ground, and we'll use it all. But we're gonna be good for the next 50 years.
One thing, Gene, that I kind of have picked up from people is people like to complain. They like to bitch, and I like to remind them to look. Wait a minute. Let's get more of the facts. You sound like you know what you're talking about, but where did you hear that from? Well, I got it from Paul. Where did Paul hear it from? You know the old thing, the telephone. Is that where you sit in a group and you tell somebody beside you? It's completely different by the time it gets back around to you. So let's all try to get more of the facts before we start running around. Ain't it awful, and having pity parties. Let's be positive, because this is all I see is positive growth here at this organization and in the industry. It really is.
Yeah, and it's very, this event, it's very hard to operate it. Again, yes. And, we talked about it a little earlier. I mean, we plan, this last year, and then we get into it, and some things work great. I would say about 80% of what we tried to accomplish worked great.
That's
20% didn't, right? But guess what? We'll be better next year. But at the end of the day, aviation's a super small community. We need to be supportive of each other. It is a little bit disheartening, seeing some of the comments on social media. And, not that they're wrong, right? I mean, they had a poor experience. I'm on social media, I'm watching, I respond myself. And that's a good thing, but I just ask, to have a little appreciation for all the hard work that all these volunteers are putting into, my team's putting into it. We're not trying to make anybody's life more difficult or worse off. We're just trying to do the best we can. But, but we need to hear it too. I mean, we need to hear complaints. We need to be critiqued, because we can't get better if we don't know it, right? So I'll just give you a quick example. In Vintage this year, we shifted one of the shower houses because we thought shower house A, which is behind Vintage headquarters in the woods there, would suffice for the people camping in Vintage on the west side. Well, they didn't like that. Well, I didn't know, right? So we thought it would be at work or whatnot. It didn't. So guess what? The shower house will be back next year, right? So I'll make sure that happens. But again, we want to make sure they're having a great time. But if I don't know it, I can't fix it either. So I do appreciate, the comments and the critiques and the criticism, because some of it's valid. And so that's good. I mean, we can't get better without it.
And Gene, and we, I'm looking at us as being the older folks, the seniors. We've got a lot of young people that are working around here.
Yep.
It's our obligation to show these young folks, Nick, Ryan, Jacob, show these young folks how to really run an organization. Because you can't just, it's not that easy to do, but we have to be mentors and show them you're either part of the problem or part of the solution.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I would say is, we, as far as this event, we have to change, because our demographic is changing, right? And the younger generations have a different expectation than even I have, right? I'm a Gen Xer, right? And so, but they have a different expectation, and we need to provide. If we want them to come and we want this flying to continue for the next 50 years, we have to change, and we need to start doing it now, right? So, new website this year, new, online ticketing, one day it's probably going to be cashless here. I don't think it's not going to be next year or several years from now, but times are changing, right? And the demographic is changing, and there's younger folks coming here, and they have an expectation, and they want certain amenities, and they want certain things. Not that we want to forget about anybody else and just turn away from them, but we have to balance all of this, right? And so in order to keep these folks coming, because this event is very, very important to the industry. I mean, if you looked out there at the 500 plus exhibitors and vendors here this year, I mean, lots of aircraft on display, a lot more than I've seen here in a long, long time. But there's so much to balance and so many different stakeholders here. And it's tough, but we do a great job, and our volunteers, again, I keep saying it, but they kill themselves for this place, and it's not easy. It was dusty this year, obviously, because we've had great weather, but it's dusty. It could have taken them just a little bit of rain, but they're out there every single day in the dust, in the heat, getting it done for us, and they're working their tails off,
I call that dust our antivirus.
Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead and breathe as much of that stuff as you can.
And also with the changes, we only see them so often. We have yearly birds that are here with us year-round, early birds 4 or 5 months, and then our friends that come in for 10 to 14 days. So we're making these changes and trying to plan around these things, and they have to come in and now operate it, right? And a lot of changes this year, it's not necessarily easy for them to just jump in there when we just changed a bunch of things on them. Now, granted, we're communicating that, but it goes to the chairman, and then it goes down from there. So if you're a lower person on the volunteer totem pole here, it's like, whoa, what's going on this year? But I will tell you, they did a phenomenal job. Really, we're super flexible, and got it done this year. And we did a lot of new things they haven't done in the past. So it's a good thing, and I appreciate them.
Well, and this is the second year with the new facility over there, Aerospace Center for Excellence. How long has that building been open now?
Yeah, August will be 2 years, actually.
2 years, okay.
Yep.
And there's things that you're learning about that building.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got here, we had to build, after the flying last year, we had to build our Aerospace Center, our educational team. Brought on Eric Crump, who was the program director at Polk State College Aerospace. He's now the executive director for ACE, does a phenomenal job, and then he had to build out his team, which he's done. For example, again, we're bringing all the fifth graders through this next year. Plus, we'll have 15 summer camps this year. Last summer we did 3. This year we're doing 15. And just a lot of new programming that Eric has put together this year during the flying. We had junior aces. We also had kids 10 and under free this year. It was 6 and under last year. We want to get more kiddos here. So the Beulah Restoration Center over here, that was exhibits for and hands-on based STEM activities for the kids, and that they can get a passport if they went to all the various places they needed to do or needed to go. They get a stamp, and then they got a cool toolkit as well. So we probably had anywhere from 8 to 9,000 kids go through there over the last 6 days. So it's been awesome.
Wow. Gene, we've been talking a lot about the institution, the organization, and so forth. But when you untie the knot in your balloon and let all the air out, where are you going?
Well, I just got a new pool at my house.
Yeah?
So I'm going to go sit at my pool. And
Are you going to have your phone with you?
No, I'm going to actually put it down. And then I'm going to take a nap. And then I'm going to wake up, and I may take another nap, and we'll go from there. That's about it.
But I can only imagine, and there's no way, and the old adage of you can't make this up. The only thing stranger than fiction is truth. I mean, and I would love to just be a fly on the wall when you hear something. And I know you well enough to where we say, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? I mean, but we do enjoy the camaraderie. We do enjoy all of the things that have changed, and most for the good. And if it is not for the good, we have to start looking within ourselves.
Yep.
Maybe we're the ones. Are we part of the problem? Are we part of the solution? And we, like Melody and I, love to, we're very observant, and I try to caution her a little bit on what she puts out there. But let's kind of open it up to help be part of what can we do to make it better, rather than just complain about it being worse.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's fun. I learned it when I was running the airport here. Unfortunately, things happen, and but also I don't shy away from it, because if I made a mistake, I'm going to own it, and we're going to fix it. And as I always told my team when I was at the airport, as long as we don't kill anybody, we're good. We'll fix it. And it's been a great week. It's been safe, and so that's all that really matters at the end of the day. We all get to come back here and see each other's smiling faces. That's what I look forward to.
Well, Gene, I look forward to seeing your smiling face a little bit decompressed next time, because I know it's been a whirlwind for you this week.
I will tell you, I was a little freaked out Monday morning. felt the weight of the world on my shoulders, and the team and everybody. But we had a bang up year, and it's been awesome. And again, my team has really rallied and done a phenomenal job this year. So I appreciate them.
Gene, you got the first one under your belt.
Yep.
Let's look forward to a couple
Let's
more.
go for the 50th and number 2.
And it'll be smoother and smoother and smoother, and just continuity. And you know your team well, and I think you've done a good job building. But you're not done.
Nope.
We're going to be adding.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yes, sir. Gene, take it easy, and I look forward to flying over you and looking down that pool.
Very good. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, and we're going to wrap this one up, and we're going to close out on 2 because it's a nice wide shot, and this is the grand finale. This is the big guy, and 2 big guys. We're going to say adios, and we'll see you later. Let's look for you at the 50th annual Sun and Fun International Expo and Fly-In.
Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo.
Sun and Fun
Aerospace Expo.
Aerospace Expo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Take it easy, and let's see you next year.